is annoying.
You gotta do a countdown or something.
Oh, okay. 1. We begin.
I remember my first countdown that started at 1, ended at 1.
1.
Welcome to Midnight Masterminds.
I know that was supposed to be like a fake intro, but that's the real intro.
It was a real intro. You're welcome.
I am Wyatt. I'm joined here with Aaron,
Aaron,
Katie May, and Jason Biggs joining us today for
Jason Biggs.
We're not going to do any long, awkward silences when introducing people this time around.
No, I didn't even give other people an opportunity to introduce themselves, right, Mr. Biggs? Say something.
He's a little shy.
He's a little shy.
I would call it stage fright.
I bet you people think that we don't actually have a guest.
Or that we actually have Jason Biggs as a guest.
Why don't we? Instead, it's Tyler from Stories from Storage fame, if you could call it that.
And the eventer.
Yeah. But he's been to the doctor recently. Apparently he's supposed to be drinking some tea. He's got some vocal problems going on.
Are all these pauses supposed to be for like clapping? Because I'm not putting in clapping.
I put it in for you.
Okay, that's fine.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Stories from Storage. My name is Tyler. Wait.
Oh, I think you're in the wrong room.
I get you're being dumb. That was such a funny joke.
Oh. That's nice.
I've never been a guest on someone else's podcast before. It's weird.
We run this house, so don't come in here doing whatever you want to do. This is our turf.
Okay.
You're in enemy territory.
For sure. Yeah.
You were welcome, but now...
We invited you in, and now
must have been what Kim Jong felt like when he visited with Trump.
Or Dennis Rodman.
I didn't want to laugh at that, but...
I'm starting to think this was a mistake.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So, if you don't know what Midnight Masterminds is...
Then go...
Yeah. I'll tell you instead. We do movie news. We do movie reviews. We also have little fun movie segments where we do things that involve movies.
Yeah, Wyatt does a striptease at the end of every episode.
Actually, I just do them naked.
We just have a grand old time.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's kind of distracting. I'm sitting really close to him.
Which one's the microphone?
Hard to tell.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
They're equal hairiness, you know.
Unless we're talking about lav mics. Anyways.
Whoa! High five.
Production joke.
Yeah.
That was great. This is going great. So, so for our opening segment, we have accumulated a list of movies, and we condensed this movie list using 4 other 100 best movie lists that we could find on the internet. By taking all of the movies from these lists, we've isolated just the ones that someone in the group hasn't seen, which is pretty long. I was surprised. So out of all these 100 best movie lists, this week we watched 7. I have not seen 7 personally up to this point in my life. I have now seen it, so don't start throwing things at me.
It's delicious.
I wouldn't call it that.
Okay, yeah, all right, delicious.
I did want to eat spaghetti afterwards.
As long as you finish it.
Buschetti. But we also watched Memento. We tried to keep it on theme, sort of on target. They're both equally creepy and dark and unnerving.
We started this list off right. Just straight to the creepy stuff.
Straight to the,
Well,
we could have started with Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something else you have not seen, which, by the way, the movie, the person who has not seen Memento is Katie May.
Yeah.
But now she has.
That's true.
She's different. So we're gonna do a little bit of classic review. We're gonna jump in, have a little discussion, see why did these movies appear on every one of those lists? Because almost all the movies that we chose to put on this list appeared on more than 100's greatest list. So they are
very acclaimed. Yeah,
they're acclaimed and they're regarded as some of the best movies that you could see. Starting with 7. Who wants to jump into 7? I don't want to jump into that universe. I mean the plot.
I was going to say, that's a terrible place to live.
I don't want to live in 7.
I live in 7.
Kevin Spacey's there.
Directed by David Fincher.
Oh, yes.
Written by Andrew Kevin Walker, who also wrote 8mm, which is not as popular as 7, but he was...
he's a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, we'll call it that. He actually also acted in the movie, which, fun fact...
Who was he?
He was the first death victim, the large gentleman who had to have prosthetics.
He had prosthetics on?
Yeah, he was Spaghetti Man, as I'll call him. Which actually probably was the
I just assumed that was like a dummy. I didn't think that was a person.
Yeah, no, it was a real person. That was actually the writer of the...
That would suck for that to be your day on set. So first you got to wear these prosthetics, and then you got to just lay face down in spaghetti all day.
Yeah, they talked about how difficult that was to actually do. That was not an easy shoot.
That sounds horrible.
But he signed up for it. So.
I mean, whatever.
Also, so it starred A couple of heavy hitters. We had Brad Pitt.
Yes.
We had Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
Kevin Spacey, already spoken about.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Looking 12, I might say.
Looking 12.
Not like on a scale of 1 to
7.
10. She looks
7.
12 years old.
7.
No, she did not look 12 years old. Yeah, I get your point. She looked young. Yeah, she looked
for
very
sure.
young.
I mean, she's what in real life? Like 40-something?
She still looks 12.
I don't keep track of people's ages.
I do all the time.
You keep track of people's ages.
I don't.
Agents. They're agents.
Agents. But of course, this is directed by Mr. David Fincher, who at that point, I was reading some fun facts that only directed Aliens.
Yes.
So this was his second movie.
Well, that and movie-wise.
Yeah, movie-wise. Mm-hmm. I find it interesting that this is not only his second movie, and it's become more apparent, especially now with someone like Jordan Peele out there. You don't need to be a veteran filmmaker to make a really good movie, but you could have told me that it was, and I'd believe you, because it was...
very well crafted.
Attention to detail, the craftsmanship is incredible. But I also was looking through just fun facts, which I'll dive into more of them in a little bit here, because the movie's so old, I don't feel the need to review it in detail. Mm-hmm. But I do have some facts and stuff about it, and reasons you should go see it. If it's on your list of movies to go see, go check it out if you haven't seen it yet, like me. But seeing as this was only his second movie, he had just directed Aliens 3 years prior, and he was so disillusioned by that experience with always fighting with the studio about the way he wanted the movie to go, the way things should be happening, the story, everything. Every single hurdle he jumped through on Aliens, he hated it. He hated the experience and was done. He wasn't going to do anymore. He's I don't like this. If that's what filmmaking is, count me out. Mm-hmm. And someone gave him this script, and he said, "Okay, I'll do this script."
Yeah.
And the rest is history. He's now probably one of the most respected, right underneath maybe Chris Nolan, directors out there right now.
Yep.
And I think this movie has everything to do with it because it's phenomenal. It was, this will speak to it as well. I know how it ends. We all know what's in the box, right? It's it's a joke now. Mm-hmm. What's in the box? It's a freaking meme. What's in the box?
But what is in the box?
What is in the box?
It's me.
I knew what was in the box because I had seen, living and I understand pop culture.
Well, I don't. So explain it to me.
I knew what was in the box. I knew how the movie ended walking into it, and I was still incredibly tense. All my muscles were just completely just tense.
Absolutely.
Watching that scene, even though I knew I was going to end. So there should have been. It shows you how expertly it was. Yep. It was crafted. I totally see why it's on the list.
Do you know that people are convinced that they've seen her head in the movie, but they never show it? But people are convinced that they've seen it.
It's one of those Mandela effect things.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead, Aaron.
Exactly. No, Fincher's done this in the past, and actually even did it sort of because he's the producer on Mindhunter and he's directed Mindhunter too. They do it in Mindhunter, a similar trick of what they did in Seven.
Yeah.
Little flashes there.
They give you it's almost they almost take a subliminal messaging approach.
Correct.
And they put one frame of Gwyneth Paltrow's face somewhere in, and it doesn't even really belong, but they just flash just one time. And that's why people think that they have seen it, even though it's not her head in the box. It is her head, and it's kind of a darker.
It's just it's a close up.
Yeah, it's a close up.
Exactly.
So people think they see her head.
It's graphic.
It's crazy.
Yep. It's fucked up. Messed me up when I watched it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense to me to go and just do a full-on review like we would of something like Jurassic World, which is what we're going to cover today. So I want Katie May to give us her breakdown of the plot before she gives us her notes.
I like
Got her!
I formally ask you to give us a plot summary.
And on her behalf, I accept.
Oh my goodness!
So, here we go. You got this.
What's in the plot?
I don't have anything prepared.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm surprised.
You're good. Just jump into it. You're good.
Yeah, just jump in. Just start.
What's the first thing that happens?
Can I use my notes?
No. I'm gonna shoot you with a rubber band every time you get a plot detail wrong.
Well, basically.
Zing!
Rubber bands make sings.
That's the plot, everybody.
Rubber bands make zings.
It's a great movie. There's Morgan Freeman. He's a cop. He's going to retire.
Yes.
And then Brad Pitt comes in, and he's like this hotshot, and he's like, I'm going to take your job. Morgan Freeman's like, whatever. And
I knew this would be good.
I likes it.
And then this crazy murder happens with Spaghetti Guy.
That's Spaghetti Guy. That's his name on IMDb.
And they're like, oh, this is crazy. And then it turns into 7 deadly sins for the murders. And
Real quick question.
The murders.
Did this come out before or after Saw?
it came out in
Before.
1995.
Yeah,
Way
it-
before?
Yeah.
This stands the test of time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, it's because, like, a lot of people draw a comparison between the two because it's so... It's like, when you think, like, there's a game behind, like,
Murders.
why you're dying, and you think your first thought, for at least the general populace, is probably Saw. But when I was...
This did it way first.
way before and bad, or...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
The gluttony kill in this one is
Yeah.
disgusting.
Ugh.
It's horrible.
Spaghetti guy.
Yeah,
That was Spaghetti guy.
Yep.
So then they go on this hunt for this killer. It all happens within a week.
John Doe.
Yeah, John Doe. And then we end with the box. So
The whole movie. So here's the first 15 minutes and then the ending.
What's in the plot?
What's in the box? What's in the plot?
What's in the plot? What's in the fucking plot?
and there you go.
I think what's interesting is I did not know this, that Kevin Spacey, or John Doe, he gives himself up.
Yep.
When that happened in the movie, I thought, Jesus, what? That totally elevated everything for me. Like, I'm watching, like, this is interesting, this is good. I can see, well, a lot of comparisons to, like, Mindhunter and even other movies that he's done, like The Zodiac. And I'm watching it, and then all of a sudden, he just walks in, hands covered in bandages.
And blood.
And he just says, he's detective. I saw that. I was like, oh, where is this going now? I have no idea.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that makes that ending so much more haunting. Is it's one of those rare instances. Let me fix your hair there, Bubba.
It's okay.
One of those rare instances in Hollywood where a movie is beloved because the bad guy won. Like
He's super.
yeah.
won.
He won in every possible way you can think.
Absolutely.
It's like, it's why it's such a haunting ending. Like, you can have it where Paltrow still dies and eat Wrath and all that, but like, because it was all orchestrated by John Doe, like, there's not a glimmer of hope or
No.
optimism at all.
Yeah.
From about, like, honestly, like 3/4 of the way through, all the like good vibes you feel in the movie are completely gone or empty or not placed anywhere tangible.
Well, that's why it's like a perfect marriage with the writer. He went to Penn State for actually like going for film.
Shout out to Matt Moore. I also went to Penn State.
So
Fantastic.
did my dad.
So he graduates, and about like 7 or 8 years later, he's already like written the script, but he's working in a record shop, not doing anything for what he wanted to do. So he's in such a dark place and very deep depression.
Yeah.
So the reason why he wrote this, or the way that it was wrote, is because he's in a state of mind.
Yep.
And then you get somebody like David Fincher, who that's the type of filmmaker that he is, and it's like a perfect marriage with that. And then you get this expert acting with everybody there. So it was just like really well crafted from everybody.
If it's not on your list, put it there.
Yeah, definitely do that.
So
Just,
before you
but
go-
maybe don't watch it alone because it'll mess you up.
No, watch it alone.
Watch it alone.
Watch
at
it
3 a.m.
alone, but like
Turn
maybe,
all the lights off.
maybe have a friend nearby that you can hug afterwards.
No, don't do that.
No.
For a week before you watch this movie, tell all your friends you don't want to see him anymore. Throw your phone away. Blow up your car so you can't leave.
What?
I did this
Let him
exact
watch.
thing.
Then throw yourself down the stairs so your legs are broken.
Yeah.
And then crawl to the couch.
And then watch the movie Misery,
have-
and then watch 7.
Have the movie already loaded, and
Yeah.
then watch 7.
Yes.
Yep. There you
Like
go.
That's the only way to watch it.
Yeah,
So
Watch it on VHS.
before we jump into and then be kind and rewind it for the next person.
Be kind of rewind. That's a good one.
Before we jump into Memento and we talk about that excellent film, Katie May took some notes when we were watching 7 and she wanted to share them with us. Just her general thoughts in real time. Being someone who's seen 7, watching it with someone who hasn't seen 7, me, this is what she thought.
Yeah. So my first note is Brad Pitt has ugly facial hair.
Hear that, Brad Pitt? You don't meet Katie
don't like
May's
that good
physical standards.
Also wearing a basketball tie.
Excellent. Apparently he picked out all his own ties.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So then we go to Brad Pitt holds coffee in the rain like a dum-dum.
Like a dum-dum.
Dead guy in spaghetti didn't even finish. What a waste.
Didn't even finish. He didn't even fulfill what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, he didn't even finish
Eat
that
all
like
the food.
eighth bowl
Little
of
did she
spaghetti.
know that
Yeah.
that was his goal.
He had a heart attack. 'Cause,
Yeah. He had to stop and go back to the grocery store to get more food.
This is an alternate scene where like John Doe's sitting there like, eat your spaghetti. And he's like, okay. And he's like, can I have more? And he's like, oh. John Doe's like, I've spent $650 on spaghetti, you fat piece of shit. And the spaghetti guy's like, okay, I'll go to the store. I'll be right back. He unties himself, gets up, walks out, comes back, sits in the chair, ties himself up again. It's like, this is great. I love
the best way to be murdered.
Then we got fish tie, first dead body. So, basketball tie again, second dead body. Typewriters. That's it. That's all I have.
Run down typewriter.
Yeah.
You know Tom Hanks loves typewriters?
Oh yeah.
He has
a
collection.
He has a typewriter app on the App Store where you can download it's a keyboard you can get that adds a vibrate function and makes the keyboard noise when you're texting people on your iPhone.
That's awesome.
Extremely
Yeah, I had it. It's so cool. Because like when you get to the end of a line, it'll go shing, and you have to actually swipe on the keyboard to send the thing back. So
oh my god!
It's like as close
Instead,
to...
you send the message.
Send the message. It's like incomplete. Yeah.
Oh, Captain has caterpillars for eyebrows.
Oh,
jerk.
Brad drinks PBR. Gross.
It is gross. Hipster scum.
Pepper
gross.
Potts is a child.
He's 12.
Day 3, basketball tie. A classic. Brad asks what a switchblade is. Still wearing basketball tie.
Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow was 25 when they made that.
12.
Is a child.
25 going on.
Okay, Friday,
Or
basketball
20-something.
tie. You guessed it, again.
Sounds like you're just having commentary with yourself while you're watching.
Sorry, 23?
With a money tree.
Brad Pitt likes Lay's potato chips.
Me too.
Guy in coat has a funny run like Elton John.
You're talking about Kevin Spacey's character.
Yeah.
Hey, that Elton John, you look like an idiot.
You walk like a Kevin Spacey.
Just kidding.
2,000 notebooks of what?
Yeah,
Brad,
what do you have that's so interesting, John Doe?
Brad Pitt littered. What a piece of shit.
He did. Now he just threw it. I was so mad for watching
I remember watching that the first time. Being like, wow, what a cunt. Yeah. Don't give a shit what happens.
This is 95. People didn't care about littering.
Yeah.
You're right.
We were watching. I was like, I just audibly said "piece of shit." We were watching and he said it.
Yeah, I do remember.
Fourth body, new tie, but what is it? I never figured it out.
Yeah, we'll have to rewatch that just to see
for the tie.
Kevin Spacey has a hairy-ass chest.
Yeah.
Sunday, new tie, but what? Didn't figure that one out either. Normal black tie for confession. Spiky hair Brad. Chain wallet equal really cool. And then at the very end, my last one was heavy stuff.
Heavy
That's
stuff.
heavy.
Heavy indeed.
stuff.
Heavy indeed.
I have a lot more, but I
the
don't.
box was heavy because the human head weighs 8 pounds.
Oh.
I have more, but I don't understand them. So
Out of context, it don't make
So
sense.
Yeah.
bad. Do it.
You just talked about the books, like all the books that he wrote, or like in the composition notebooks.
Yes.
Those were every single one of them was written in for the movie. It cost about $15,000 in 2 months for people to write stuff in those books.
That's intense.
And they said that it would take about 2 months for the police to read everything in there and log it.
Wow. And a lot of
Why would they even bother? Just get a composition notebook and just put it on the shelf. Who cares if there's writing in it? Why did you do that?
That's
That's
called
why
attention to
David
detail.
Fincher made a classic forever, and our last feature film is a pile of garbage.
Listen.
Because he had $15,000 to spend on interns writing in notebooks for 2 months.
That was triple our budget just for that.
I know.
And each line has like 2 lines of writing within each composition
He doesn't
line.
just write in one line.
the F word is used 74 times in the film.
What F word? Fruit?
Fun.
Yep, fruit.
Fun.
Fuddruckers.
Brad Pitt cut his arm pretty badly.
Cut it off?
Yep, he just cut it off.
127 hours.
What? How didn't he? Was it a window? I think. Right.
In the windshield,
Yeah.
where funny coke guy
Yeah.
is chasing him.
Yeah.
Coke. Love it.
And then they work it into the plot. Then after that.
Yeah, that's why he's wearing a cast.
It wasn't written into the story. It was.
But he had to wear a cast because
Yeah.
he cut it like really deep.
Yeah, like down
To the bone.
Yep.
the
Yeah.
bone.
And it made $13 million in its first weekend.
Solid for this kind of movie.
And that's all I really have.
Good.
I didn't write down a lot.
That's all, folks.
So on the DVD commentary, David Fincher said that he felt really bad for the person who was going to be in the fat prosthetic.
Yep.
So he made him well endowed.
Yeah.
He gave him a massive
So
hog.
the writer has got a big
hog.
Penis. He's
Oh.
a giant schwanzer.
I think that's correct.
All right, so we're moving on to Memento.
Woo woo!
Director Christopher Nolan, starring Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
Those are the
Also
important-
known as the guy who made Iron Man 3 a pile of garbage.
Whoa! Do not blame Guy Pearce
He's the reason
for getting paid.
He is the reason the Mandarin thing happened.
He's not. It wasn't his idea.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it
It
was.
was Shane Black.
No. Look
Guy-
up any interview.
Tell us the story.
That it really isn't. Besides
Tell
what
us-
I already said.
Cite your source.
Cite your source.
If you chant it though, it's true.
Guy Pearce thought it would be
Guy
more
Pearce thought it would be
interesting
more interesting. Guy Pearce thought it would be more interesting.
to have that twist. So he was like, "Hey, what if I was the Mandarin?" And Shane Black was like, "I fucking love it." And then that's
So
what
that's
happened.
still Shane Black's fault. Just because he suggested an idea doesn't mean that the
Yeah, but
director
Shane
had
Bla-
to just go with it.
Sure, but Shane Black didn't have the idea in the first place. And if Guy
It's
Pearce,
still his fault.
you're right.
I'm not saying that your information
No, it's
is
okay. No,
wrong.
It's all right. So
Just
Memento
saying, I
is a movie
still
about
blame Shane
it's about
Black.
a guy, and it takes place in a weird
So-
order. And
So
it's hard to understand, and I haven't seen it in about 8 years. And
it directed and
Okay, so
written
we
by
watched
Christopher
it.
Nolan.
Yes, directed and written by C. Nolan.
But actually, the original, which was a short, it was Memento Mori, was written by his brother, Jonathan Nolan.
Jonathan Nolan.
Yes. So then that was
John
adapted.
Knowles.
really an underappreciated Nolan, I think.
Yeah, honestly,
Well,
people
he's in
don't-
his own right become very, very popular.
Yeah.
Because he's writing Westworld right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
he co-wrote a lot with his brother as well too.
Oh, he co-wrote.
He's the American Nolan, by the way.
He was the sole writer, I believe, on Interstellar, right?
I
Like, he wrote the original script,
believe so.
and then he partnered with Kip Thorne on it, and then Christopher Nolan did his pass on it. I've always wondered that. Why is Christopher Nolan British, but Jonathan Nolan is
They
American?
grew up separately for a significant portion of their lives. I can't remember which of their parents lived where, but one lived in America, the other lived in England.
Like
and
the Parent Trap?
Sort of. They weren't like
The Nolans live real parents.
But the Nolans.
they weren't like a broken up family or anything, but like Chris grew up in England with I think it was their dad, and then the other one, Jonathan, right?
Yeah,
I think they're like,
grew up
we're
in
going to
America.
give them two separate upbringings and see which
See
one's
which
gonna...
one of them is more successful.
Yeah.
But it turns out they're both incredibly. I mean, I would wager to bet that Christopher Nolan's way more popular. But
That's a good bet to make.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Jonathan Nolan
Yes.
has not only been working on almost everything Chris Nolan's been working on or worked on.
Mhm.
He now is really responsible for Westworld and how that's turning out to be.
Also,
a
Person of
popular
Interest.
show.
Another really,
Yeah.
really popular
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
show.
Anyway, now what we're talking about, Memento.
Yes, starring Guy Pearce, Carrie-Anne Moss,
Yep.
Joe Pantoliano, I believe.
No.
Anyways,
So this is a segment that we're still calling Katie May Gives a Random Review of a Movie. Even though
this
it's
one's going
better
to be
now-
good.
It's better now because she was the one who never saw it. So I'm interested to see, how you describe the plot. Especially in this movie, which is already hard
Which
to
is
follow.
one of the most difficult plots to describe.
I also was left very confused by the end of it.
When I saw this movie the first time, I was 15. And I saw it and I was like, I love it. But I don't know what happened. So I had to watch it a second time. And then I was like, okay, now it's becoming clearer.
I've only watched it once. And I don't even know how to explain it. So I could do it in super Katie May terms.
Do it.
Alright.
Bring out the Katie May.
Low budget Brad Pitt comes in.
Oh, man.
Discount Brad Pitt.
Ooh.
Wow.
Which is funny because
That stings.
Brad Pitt was an early contender for that role.
Whoa.
I feel like he's an early contender for like every
Every-
role ever.
Yeah.
He was almost Cable. He was almost Iron Man. He was almost Batman.
Yeah.
Like
I
mean,
think
he's
I
Brad
just
Pitt.
had
For
Brad
sure.
Pitt on the mind because we had just watched Seven. So
It's true.
But regardless, Guy Pearce really
anyway.
is discount Brad Pitt.
yeah. So
Hey guys, real quick, did you know that Chris Nolan and John Nolan have an older brother who was convicted of murder, kidnapping, and bank fraud, and is in jail right now?
Well, what's interesting about that probably is people who have a lot of issues, like that, like, kidnapping and murder and whatnot, don't have an outlet, so they murder people. Christopher Nolan may very well have become a murderer, if he didn't have a creative outlet. So instead of murdering, he just made a bunch of great movies.
Question: where was the older brother raised?
In Australia.
So I was right.
Oh, that makes sense.
Their dad is English and their mom's American.
Cool.
Anyway.
Like the Parent Trap.
Just like the Parent Trap. But no, the Parent Trap was different. The dad was American.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so let's just get it right. I know my Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, yep.
I forgot where I was.
Sorry.
Well,
I was the
really
one
matter.
who rudely interrupted your review.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this as difficult as possible.
Yeah, you're succeeding here.
You were at Discount Brad Pitt, I think.
Okay, Discount Brad Pitt comes in, and he's taking some pictures. Some Polaroids.
Some Polaroids?
Some Polaroids.
A pool of Polaroids.
I got
Continue.
a Polaroid over here.
He just shoots a man.
I just shot a man and I liked it.
Yeah.
Continue.
He has, what is it? He doesn't remember.
Anterograde amnesia.
Excuse me, this is K May's review.
Yeah, just trying to help.
And so he's trying to find this guy who raped and murdered his wife, and it's all in weird backwards order thing, and I still don't fully understand the ending. And
Okay.
there
I think
you
that's,
go.
you know what? I think that's
What's
pretty
the
good.
plot?
That needs to be our new segment.
Yeah.
So I will say that Katie May's review is as on point as possible.
Yeah.
Having probably only seen it once, it's probably super confusing.
No, definitely only seen it
Yeah,
once.
you definitely only seen it once. Definitely super confusing. Give us your actual review. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? Being
I
someone
liked
who's never
it.
seen it.
I would see it again, mostly to understand what's happening, but I would see it again. I liked it. I think it had pretty good K May pacing.
And pretty much.
Katie May pacing
Which
approved.
is to say, it started and it never, ever, ever got slow, ever.
Yeah.
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 That's
And
K May pacing.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with having a certain pacing named after you.
No, not at all.
Don't get too talky in your movies.
Yeah, keep your
Keep your dialogue to a minimum.
Yeah, keep it down in a movie that's pretty much all.
Don't ever
dialogue.
let me think about what's happening while it's going on.
She
Don't
likes
ever let me
silent films, but
stew
hates
in the
them.
emotions you just created. Just keep me going, put a leash around me, and whiplash me through that damn story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. I like movies like that.
Love the movie Whiplash.
I don't. See, that's
You know who doesn't?
We'll talk about that later.
I hated that movie.
Oh,
Me
back,
too.
back to Memento.
High five.
Back-
Wait, you hated Whiplash?
Yeah.
That movie's awful.
Probably for a different reason than
It's
Katie.
so
We cannot
No,
get
that's
into
not
this
why I
right
didn't
now.
like it.
I'm
I
so
didn't like it.
frustrated.
I'm so frustrated.
I didn't like it because Miles Teller has one of the most punchable faces in Hollywood, and it is at its most punchable in that movie.
I hope he knocks your block off.
He
sir.
probably could.
He is a saint.
No.
Oh, he's not a saint, but
He's
I
a
like
saint.
Miles.
He's-
Teller.
Sure, you cannot deny he has an extremely punchable face.
Yes, I can deny that.
That doesn't mean he's a bad person. It just
I
means
don't. I
wanna
wouldn't want to punch his
face.
face.
It means
I
I want to
wouldn't.
punch his face.
I would want to kiss it. Oh yeah, you reviewed. You
Well,
liked it.
I think she kind of finished her
Yep.
review.
Yeah.
Do you want Katie May's notes?
Give us some Katie May notes on Memento.
I did not take as many as I did for 7.
Mostly because you're trying to understand it while you're watching it.
Yeah. So before I realized that it was a backwards movie, in the beginning I said, it's already developed. Stop shaking it. And then I put a backwards movie. So.
Eventually realized, oh, I see
Yep.
why the photo develops backwards.
Yep.
It's in reverse.
So I got there. Why lock your car if your window is broken?
That's a good question, idiot.
Bert has one hell of a beard. Lenny has some great spiky hair. Then I put, Natalie has eyes like the sky.
What?
That's the sweetest thing you've ever
I
said.
know, that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard you say.
Eyes like the sky.
But I also put Natalie is mean. So.
I mean, she is a bitch.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I also
Huh.
put, this is frustrating.
Watching this is frustrating.
Then I put, Sammy is the drama teacher from Glee. Lenny might have some muscle definition, but he is small as hell. Wyatt would win in a fight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's right. Get over here, Lenny. Calling you out, Guy Pearce. Speaking directly to you now.
He probably would f you
I
up.
want to fight you.
Who puts ice in a paper towel?
Yeah, I noticed that too. When they do...
I
when
put
they-
ice on a paper towel.
Listen here, it's going to melt, and then it's going to get all soggy. It's going to all wet
Soggy.
on you.
Who
Yeah,
describes
just
a
like
paper
it
towel
would in
as
a
soggy?
regular rag.
No.
Depends.
Put it
Get
in
a bag of,
plastic
you get a bag of peas, or you put it in a Ziploc bag so you don't get water all over you.
Yeah.
Putting it in a paper towel is dumb.
But what if it's the only thing available? Like, I would rather put it in like a washcloth
if it's the only
or a
thing
bag or
available,
something.
yes. If you can get a Ziploc bag or a frozen bag of peas, putting it in a paper is stupid.
I hate
You're
frozen
icing
peas.
yourself. What matter? Who cares if
What matter?
Who cares?
What matter?
If a little cold
Just what
water
matter?
gets on you?
Because if you do it long enough, it's gonna melt fully.
Yeah, and then you have
And
a
then you'll
bag
know
of thawed peas that is completely worthless.
No, it's not worthless. You put it back in the freezer, and then it'll refreeze in like
and
10 minutes.
Freezer burned is all hell.
Freezer burned.
So,
Burn.
okay,
I love-
so this is where I ended my notes. Natalie doesn't wipe the blood off her face. Idiot.
Yes.
And then I just stopped taking notes.
You know, she
So-
could have wiped it off with a soggy paper towel.
No, yeah, that'll work.
And by
Hey, dude,
facts,
give us
I
some
only
facts,
mean like
and then we'll just
two.
we'll just all give general tidbits. We'll spend a minute. Everyone will get to give their minute on Memento.
I'm shooting wrapped in 25 days.
Holy shit.
Holy hell!
Damn.
Well, if you think about it, actually, you know what? I don't want to. I'm sorry, but
You fucking stop.
but that movie, if you think about it, really doesn't have a whole lot going on. Like, you rewatch the same thing a lot. So a lot of the runtime is padded with watching some of the same stuff.
And the three leads were only on set together for one day. It was never higher than Spy Kids, so it never did better than Spy Kids while it was in theaters.
So it's in theaters at the same time as Spy Kids.
Yeah,
But
but
I mean, that makes sense.
so
Yeah, maybe
that's
that's
all
Spy
the
Kids, definitely
facts
not.
I have. It was only two, so.
So, Aaron, your minute take on Memento.
I just thought it was great storytelling. Like, it's definitely one of Nolan's like more talked about films. When you talk about his work, it's something that stands out, I think, from the pack. I loved it. I loved the direction. I loved Guy Pearce. I thought was great. So
That wasn't a minute, but we'll move on.
you don't know what a minute is.
I don't know what it is. Memento, go.
So, like I said, I saw it last like 8 years ago. So I've been vigorously
Oh, you didn't prepare for the pot. Okay, got it. Hey, it's all right.
been vigorously rereading as many different plot synopses as I can
Yeah.
to try to refresh my memory, and I still don't know what happened.
So you're trying to refresh your memory, kind of like
Oh!
Yeah,
kinda
right?
like-
Yeah. No,
kinda
so like
Commander.
The guy
I remember
Pearce
liking it a
podcast.
lot. I remember thinking the exact same thing as Aaron, that it's like a really fascinating way to tell a story.
Yes.
It's wonderfully acted, beautifully directed, and I want to watch it again because right now my head hurts.
This used to be my favorite Christopher Nolan movie.
I remember that.
Watching it again, it didn't decrease in value at all, but he's made a lot more stuff since the first time I saw it, which I was like 15, and this maybe dropped down a peg or two. Just because he's now made Interstellar, he's now made Dunkirk.
Top 4 Chris Nolan movies from Wyatt. Go.
I mean, his best work is still The Dark Knight, I think, and then The Prestige, Inception.
Is that a question or an answer?
I'm questioning myself.
Okay.
And
Dark Knight, Interstellar,
Prestige.
Inception, Prestige.
Yeah. Oh, that's you? Okay, cool.
That's me.
So yeah, Memento used to be at the top, and since I watched it, like 4 or 5 more Chris Nolan movies have come out. So it's not any worse of a movie. He just keeps getting better, and it's cool to watch this to see where he kind of started getting this interesting
It's
perspective.
like when a
on things.
musician you like grows up, but they grow up in a way that's still them. They just get better at doing
Yes.
what they've always
Instead
been
of
doing.
changing into being something weird or different or shitty, it's the same thing, just like way better every time. Every time it's way better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Except for Dunkirk, but Dunkirk was fantastic in its own ways.
Excuse me? That was a great movie.
It was, but it wasn't. It was like a
Didn't live up to
it was the
your-
plateau of his. I mean,
sure.
you can't continually be better than perfect. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, you just can't. Eventually, one of them is just gonna be a flawless movie, and everyone's gonna have to be okay with that.
Out of all of the movies, though, that's probably the one that can be compared the most into the way that the story was told, obviously, which is kind of cool to be able to reference to that because
It took me a little while to pick up on how they were telling
Yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah, me
they
too,
tell
as
you
well.
at the front of the movie
Yes.
how they're doing it.
Yeah.
When they put up the title cards, I was like, what does that mean? And I just kept watching the movie, and about halfway through, I was like, wait a minute. Oh.
They might as well just have
forever.
it like a your discretion advised. Christopher Nolan is smarter than you.
Beginning of every single one of his movies,
Yeah.
it should be a disclaimer: you will probably think you're dumber than you really are by the end of this movie.
It's just him turns the camera. I'm smarter than you.
Just be, you're not dumb. Christopher Nolan's just unfathomably smart.
Yeah, and I just get uncomfortable in my seat. Like, damn, yeah, probably.
Right, movie news.
Yay, movie news!
So moving on to the next segment, movie news. A lot of Disney going on right now. We have a little bit of Netflix, but honestly, not a huge week. Now, I would say it is a big week in terms of what has been announced, but there's not a lot of variety. So we're going to talk a lot about the one subject, and that starts with a D. That's a...
Sorry. Excuse me.
Disgusting.
That's a D for disgusting. A capital D for
got him.
Disney.
Yeah.
So first, we'll just commentate a little bit on what happened 2 weeks ago. We had some news about they're trying to buy Fox. They put in a really big bid, and that was sort of how it was. And then 2 weeks ago, Comcast they countered and they said we are going to also put in a bid to buy Fox, which would include not only all of Fox News, Fox Animation, but also 20th Century Fox, which has the rights to all of the X-Men characters and Fantastic Four characters, just so many different things. It also includes things like ESPN and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Comcast countered, and they said we want to make a bid that is, I think it's $65 billion, which goes against Disney's original bid, which I think was around $54 billion. But Disney's original bid was just stocks. Comcast is countering with all cash. And now Disney, they decided they're going to match the bid also with all cash. So it's become an actual bidding war. And I'm interested to see how far it's going to go.
Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah.
When that kind of money just starts getting thrown around. Yeah. Makes you think.
Well,
what could that be used for?
Yeah. what, other than buying Fox, what could you do with that? I don't know. Save the world. Anyway.
Save the world.
Disney, at the same time they're trying to buy Fox, they have either canceled or stalled all of their in-development Star Wars projects, which was a huge tidal wave when it hit. Everybody was freaking out.
Yeah.
And still freaking out because they sent out another statement saying initially everything was supposed to be canceled or assumed to be canceled, which included the Boba Fett movie, the Obi-Wan movie that we just reported on like a week ago, and Rian Johnson's trilogy, which if we hadn't talked about on here, if this is the only place you come for movie news, which is probably impossible, but Rian Johnson, the director of Star Wars Episode 8, he was given the keys to his own trilogy. He said, hey, we liked what you did with The Last Jedi, even though a lot of people didn't. We liked it.
I didn't.
I liked it.
I didn't.
I didn't.
Did you? Now, is it a fair separation, or am I the only person who liked it?
I liked it.
All right, cool.
I liked it.
It's a fair separation.
Without going down the rabbit hole, to be fair.
Please don't.
If you go down one more damn rabbit hole.
I liked a lot of it, hated more of it. There we go.
No
I
more.
liked the Porgs.
I almost thought you were going to say the porns.
Did we watch the same movie?
All right.
Also,
we're going to stop it here.
$71.3 billion.
That's what it's up to now?
That's what Disney's most recent bid was.
Yeah.
Their original bid was 35 billion.
All stock.
This is why the season passes are so expensive at Disneyland.
Gulp.
Gulp. Oh, man. But anyway, Disney, they released a statement saying, whatever you're hearing, they're not all canceled. Some of them are, but some of them are just stalled or put on a hiatus while they reconvene and sort of create a new direction after what happened with Solo. So they're so shaken by what happened with Solo, and we talked about it during our Solo episode.
Yeah.
That they are they're pretty much rethinking their whole approach. They're focusing now all of their resources instead on developing all these spin-offs and like new trilogies onto Episode 9 and the next 3 movie trilogy that's coming out after Episode 9, which is still going to be the continuous storyline that we know started with Episode 1. So Episode 1 through 9, they're going to focus on Episode 9, and then Episode 10, 11, and 12, they're looking ahead into those. So Rian Johnson's trilogy, Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, is either canceled or on hold. They had not officially announced what all the Obi-Wan details yet. I think that's the only one that's canceled because Boba Fett, they did hire a director. So I think what I read was Boba Fett's on hold and Obi-Wan is definitely canceled.
That breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Because out of all the Solo movies that they were talking
Everybody
about,
wanted Obi-Wan.
everyone wanted Obi-Wan. No one gave a shit about Han Solo, and only some people give a shit about Boba Fett.
I only give a shit about Boba Fett because I wanted to see, well, and that one still might happen, I want to see what James Mangold can do with it.
Absolutely.
He's he's a great filmmaker.
Yeah.
But the character of Obi-Wan is...
That's the thing, though. It's like you have an entire trilogy of movies that are almost universally hated except for one person.
One part.
One singular thing that people hold beloved, almost more so than some of the characters in the original trilogy.
Jar Jar
And that
Binks.
is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And
Jar Jar Binks, yes.
But not just Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Ian McGregor's portrayal of Obi-Wan it rivals that of Alec Guinness. Fight me if you want, I don't fucking care.
I think he's better than Alec Guinness. Yeah. He brings more character. I mean, so it's different.
And it should be noted too that Alec Guinness never wanted to, before, during, or after having played Obi-Wan, wanted to play Obi-Wan. He hated every minute.
He never really wanted to be associated with it.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor
is in love with it.
Embodies Obi-Wan so much so that like even when I watch the old ones now, I like miss Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
He was the most likable part.
He
of
really was. He was the only. Besides some of the clones stuff, like the actual military Clone Wars battles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The prequels are garbage, and everyone knows that. But Obi-Wan was the one thing that everyone really, really liked, and that's why I was excited for that one. But real quick,
it's the only one people are asking for.
Yeah. Question for you though, or at least I thought the Rian Johnson trilogy was gonna be the next.
No. So Rian Johnson's trilogy that he was given, which I don't know if that one's canceled or just on hold. I'm gonna guess it's on hold, just because they really love Rian Johnson over there at Disney. But Rian Johnson's trilogy, they gave him free reign. They said this is not going to be a continuation of the trilogies. Like you did your Episode 8, you did your Star Wars in story trilogy, or not trilogy but trilogy movie. Good for you. You can now do whatever you want. And he was planning on doing a trilogy of like inner city crime movies, I believe, but it was not going to be. He wasn't going to be doing like the next 3 movies of like the Skywalker story or the Rey story.
That's cool though.
Yeah, he was going to have his own of original content with original characters. He wasn't going to pull on anything from the old trilogy. He was going to be completely new about it, which I think people would really like. I think people would like that more than him making like another Rey story.
Agreed.
Because people were really weird about it because Rian Johnson is a very specific style.
Yes.
In the same way that Christopher Nolan does. Now, I'm not comparing the two.
Any filmmaker that,
I mean, you are, but it's fine.
No, he's you can call him an auteur in the way that like an Edgar Wright is. Very different, very, very distinct voice as a filmmaker. You put him in a commercial engine, it's going to please people like us, Aaron and I guess. Yeah. But it's going to make people like Tyler and Katie May upset. It's going to divide people. And if you're Star Wars, if you're Kathleen Kennedy, if you're Disney, you don't want to divide people. You want your shit to be universally adored and loved because that's what sells Disney season passes.
Yeah, you need a commercial director.
Give Rian Johnson a trilogy that maybe doesn't cost quite as much as The Last Jedi, and because the dude has proven he can make really compelling cinema with almost nothing.
That I'm excited for.
Yeah, give him like a Rogue One budget and just have him do a trilogy of movies that all cost about that much and make about that much. Mm-hmm. You're gonna make the Aarons and Wyatts of the world really happy. The people who love Looper and like the brothers Bloom and Brick. People who like those movies really, really happy.
Brick Mansions?
No, not Brick Mansions.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare bring
Get out.
But that continuing to put like an auteur person in the middle of a commercial thing, I think is just going to continue to make people like really confused and weirded out.
Mm-hmm. Well, because they're never going to ever pull the plug and let someone like Rian Johnson completely control the outcome.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that I didn't like about The Last Jedi, is it like it was a very Rian Johnson-y in a lot of parts, and then Finn and
right turn into
what's Rose galloping on CGI space horse deer.
Well, that's why if you look, I mean, it's clear that that's not working because maybe Rian Johnson is a really personable guy and got along really well with them.
For sure,
they clearly had a good experience together. But you look at the 2 directors they fired from Solo, who are very distinctive, have a very clear voice. Yeah. They were canned because they probably weren't super likable.
Well, there was all kinds of news on the what's going on behind the scenes there. There was so much conflict happening on that shoot. So.
During Solo.
Yeah, during Solo.
So like it shows that it can work, and then even though their relationship with Rian Johnson was a good one, it still didn't work. I'm gonna say now that the Last Jedi didn't work in the sense that it wasn't a home run hit. It didn't make a bunch of money.
Yeah, for their standards and what their
Did it make a bunch of money? Yeah, but it didn't pull in Force Awakens money, and it didn't please everybody. So that's not a total success. I like the movie, but just because half the people like it doesn't make it a runaway hit. Yeah. So I think canceling his trilogy is a big bummer. That's the thing I'm bummed out about the most. Because that could have been so interesting.
Yeah.
So imagine Looper in the Star Wars universe. I would have loved to see that. That would have been so cool.
Yeah, the production value with
It's my biggest issue with the Star Wars. Star Wars as a franchise. Well, it's a tie between the toxic fanboy assholes that ruin Star Wars for just normal people who want to watch it. Like, the people that chased the Rose actress off of all social media.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
It's so sad how.
And then all this stupid, let's remake The Last Jedi. Like, I didn't like the movie, but take your own dick out of your fucking mouth. For God's sake. You're not going to do a better job. Go fuck yourself.
That's vivid.
Yeah, it's vivid. If you guys don't know,
I feel strongly about it. And I didn't even really like the movie to begin with, but I feel so strongly
I'll tell you, I only found out about this movement, and I'll tell you what it is in a second, because of Ryan Johnson. He retweeted it.
Please.
So basically,
waste all your money.
A collection of producers are starting a real-life fund that they are planning on pooling their money together and covering the budget to remake The Last Jedi.
$210 million.
They have asked Disney to formally just let them make it. Like, don't bother us. We'll just make it on our own. And their idea is to collectively, communicate with the fans who have an issue with The Last Jedi, see what they didn't like about it, and then take all of their ideas into consideration, write a script that everybody will be happy with.
Yeah, that's genius.
Yeah, and that's
idiots.
That's why Ryan Johnson saw that, and he retweeted with like the little praying hand symbol, and he just said, "Please, please, please, let this be real. Please, I want to see it."
Yeah, that would be perfect because it would be like, finally, here's our case in point that not everybody can do this.
Exactly.
Yes,
it'd be so vindicating for the whole cast and crew who has been tormented. Ever since The Last Jedi came out. Like, criticism is one thing. Like, you cannot like a movie.
Yeah.
But when you, like, go out of your way to attack people for the thing that they made, it's like, you don't own the damn thing. Like, you get to watch it sometimes and be a fat nerd with opinions on the internet. They took time out of their real life to go to work and try to make it for your fat ass. I'm sorry.
Why are they fat?
I'm sorry.
Why what's the next movie news?
We're going to jump into the next bit of movie news. Another opinionated man. His name is, Jonathan Friedland. He's a former Disney executive who went over to Netflix in 2011.
Correct.
And was just fired because he was their PR chief, and in the middle of a meeting, their public relations chief said the Nij word.
Yeah, and some other stuff apparently was bad, but yeah, some people reported that you can't do that. So, so he decided to step away. It looks like forcefully.
Decided to step away at gunpoint.
Oh, my favorite thing I took away from working at the Better Purchase. You've been promoted to customer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember we were in a meeting once at our GM at the first store that you and I worked at, Katie May. We'll call him Jim Pasco. That's his real name. Sorry.
and then he said,
Katie May just almost spat all over the place.
Jim said, he's like, oh, so-and-so's not going to be joining us anymore. He's been promoted. We were like, oh, okay, to customer. And they just went out doing the meeting, and I was like, oh, you're a badass. I love you.
Oh, you are the most savage. Understood.
Okay, little tiny bit of movie news, just talking about something we reported on last week. We were talking about, they were rumoring after Roseanne was fired from her own show that they were going to do a spin-off that was going to involve all the cast, all the crew, everybody, so they didn't have to get fired, which would have cost them, how much was it, Katie May? You looked up?
Oh, well, it would have cost them...
at least $10.
At least $10.
At least 10, if not 10.
Over like $100 million in ad revenue.
Yeah, because it's ABC's most successful show last season when it was out. So,
damn.
I mean, it is what it is.
That's just more evidence, if you needed it, why you shouldn't be a racist asshole.
Whoa. But anyway.
Wait, you shouldn't be a racist
asshole?
Wait a minute.
We'll talk after the show.
I've lived my whole life being a racist asshole, and I can tell you I'm doing okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face.
That's sarcasm, everybody that didn't understand.
For God's sake!
Since it's 2018, we have to explain ourselves.
But anyway, it was sad when that was announced because all these people were going to lose their jobs. But then ABC they rebounded and they thought, let's do a spinoff with all the same characters in a lot of the same locations. We don't have to spend almost any extra money changing it except for the rewrites. And essentially, they're just going to keep making Roseanne without Roseanne. Which I say, hell yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Sad when the worst part about your show is the person it's named after. Anyway.
Next, we're going to review a movie, and that movie is called Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And Luke Cage 2, The Revenge.
And it's not a movie. It's a TV series.
And only one of us has seen any of it, and that'd be me.
And it's also not subtitled The Revenge.
No, it's just Luke Cage.
Yeah, why the hell did you do that?
I thought somebody was going to correct it and it would be a bit, but I just sounded...
No, but now it's frustrating.
I didn't even know there was a season 2 of it, so...
Wow.
Seriously?
Yeah. I don't watch any of those.
Oh, okay. Well,
I try to get her to watch,
Good.
and she doesn't.
why?
She watched season 2 of Daredevil, and she was like, "I like
You
it."
sat through almost all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but you won't sit through Daredevil or The Punisher?
No,
Or Jessica Jones?
I tried to get her to watch Jessica
Whoa,
Jones,
whoa,
and she
whoa,
turned
whoa,
off the
whoa.
first episode.
Whoa,
Because
whoa,
it
whoa,
didn't
whoa.
have
Are you kidding me?
Let's take a pause.
No!
We only watched like half of season 1 for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay.
And you watched
I've
all
seen
of
it.
Peggy Carter.
Did you
Well,
think
Peggy
that,
Carter.
that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a reflection upon everything else that was in that universe? Is that why you don't want to watch it? It's a serious question.
No.
Okay.
You watched
There we
Agent
have it,
Carter,
folks.
but you won't watch the actually really, really good, almost the entire time, Daredevils 1 and 2 and The Punisher.
I
And
have
Jessica
watched-
And
Jones.
Jessica
She saw
Jones.
season 2. She saw season 2. She stopped.
That's a
watching
weird way to
season
watch
1.
things.
And
Yeah.
She stopped watching.
I've seen some episodes of The Punisher, so
And did you
But
like
you haven't
it?
watched Jessica Jones,
no.
which I would argue is probably the one that you would like the most.
Yeah.
That's what I try to tell her. I try to say it has the best Katie May pacing.
Because you know what I watch
Don't
on
you say no!
You know what I watch on Netflix?
Community over and over and over and over and over
Okay,
again.
first of all, that's on Hulu.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Idiot!
Oh,
You don't know you're streaming,
I'm
dumbass.
sorry.
I watch Parks and Rec over
Right,
and
that's
over
the one I
again.
meant.
Okay.
Take your pick of
The-
millennials'
the-
favorite fucking comedy show.
Well, first of all,
I'm not saying they're not
those
good.
are very similar shows. So that's just the Netflix version of what Hulu has to offer with,
Probably,
with
yeah.
that. But I like them both. I like
Oh
them
yeah,
both.
they're good. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I'll roast, but they're good.
Yeah.
And
Oh, the roast.
now I watch The Queer Eye. So,
Okay.
Ayo!
Well, anyway,
A
what
lot,
I've
of, a
seen,
lot of people are.
yeah.
my problem with Luke Cage season 1 was that it was one way for half the season and another way for the other half. So I cannot offer any input onto that for this season because I've only seen the first 4 episodes. But so far, I am very invested. More so than I've been invested in a Marvel Netflix show, probably since The Punisher.
Interesting. Nice.
But even besides The Punisher, because I wasn't even really... I watched that because I love John Bernthal, but not because I was super invested.
It was good.
It was good, but
wasn't
it didn't
spectacular.
surprise me or like get me like, ooh, I want to watch the next episode.
I still love John Barrett, though.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But like
He's
Daredevil season 2 was probably the last time I was like, yeah, the whole time.
Mhm.
And I feel that way right now about Luke Cage.
Nice.
Tentatively.
What about Iron Fist?
He can go Iron Fist himself.
Hey-o!
I've never seen
I knew that was
Iron
Don't.
Fist. Yeah.
PSA to everyone,
The
don't.
only reason I didn't watch it is because I said I was going to, and Tyler was like, "Don't waste your time."
And so
Don't go
so
do
did
it.
a lot of reviews. A lot of
I've-
reviews are like, just
I've
don't
never-
watch this.
I've
This
never
doesn't exist.
Been turned away from content because someone forcefully told me not to. Like, I've been hesitant, but people have said, "Hey, this isn't very good." I'll still always go and watch whatever it is myself so I can formulate my own opinion. But Tyler was like, physical. Don't watch it.
Yeah, it broke his leg.
Yeah, he broke my leg.
Really annoying.
It's like Iron Fist. It's like even with the worst MCU movie, with not Ragnarok. Whoops, the Dark
Whoa,
World.
Listen here.
Thor: The Dark World.
Get out!
Get out! Thor: The Dark World. You can kind of watch because like the Power Stone's in that. It offers more consequence for the greater universe. Iron Fist is so bad and so nothing.
So irrelevant.
Like, if you want the story to get into Defenders, which I would also argue you just don't need to watch, it is also ass cheese because Iron Fist is in it. Just watch the trailer for Iron Fist and you'll get literally everything you need from Iron Fist is the thing. Just watch the trailer.
Cool.
Word.
Yeah. But anyway, Luke Cage season 2, pretty good so far.
All right. I'm glad we did that.
Yeah, me too. It was funny to roast Katie May.
Jurassic World Fallen 2. Ready?
The Revenge.
The Revenge. This one is not directed by Colin Trevorrow. I think he's been banned from directing things, which is
Sad.
kind of sad, I guess.
Sad for him.
Oh, sad for him, for sure. No, he's
Sad
still...
for
So
you.
he was one of the co-writers on this one, and he still does a lot of work.
Mhm.
But after he released that movie, Book of Henry, I think the whole, cinema landscape was just like, hey...
We're going to take that toy away from
Yeah,
you.
you just...
You play with this.
Yeah.
Which
No-
is
no more.
sad because, like, it's one passion project that's admittedly terrible, but still.
Yeah. I mean, he did Safety
The
Not
nature of the
Guaranteed,
industry.
That's true.
and everyone loved that. It's a good movie because it's a good script. But it's shot like, any other indie movie. It's not super unique in the way it looks or the way it's directed. And then he did Jurassic World, which is, I think it's a good movie. Right? I know people don't
Solid
like it.
blockbuster.
Yeah, it's pretty run of the mill, pretty commercial. But because they took away all of Colin Trevorrow's, I guess, toys, this one's directed by J.A. Bayana, who is Spanish.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
Anyway. Famous for directing The Orphanage and what is that? A Monster Calls?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go through the plot on this one, and then we're gonna talk about just everyone who's seen it.
You watch yourself.
We're gonna give
While
a little
I
bit of
watch
a
this.
I went on my own at 9 o'clock this morning.
There's a
just to
story,
make
and I'm not
sure.
going to get into it right now.
I was waiting for Tyler to brag about that.
Not bragging.
I'm so committed. I went to a movie at 9 a.m.
Remember my first 9 a.m. movie?
I was like, when's he gonna brag about that? Hey, we appreciate your commitment. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of it.
Honestly, I'm just gonna go home. I
Wait,
think.
hold on. That's the sound of sadness.
That's the sound of no one giving a fuck. Next is... just kidding, we love you.
Back to it.
Thank you.
What I love is that, like, if I have a genuine reason, like work is keeping me late, that I can't make a movie to be on this, because Wyatt's been asking since the show started.
Yeah.
And I've always had a reason for not being able to catch the movies.
Yeah, like a joke.
I busted my ass to make sure I could catch this one, and now he's giving me shit for it.
Do you know what some reasons are? They're excuses. Do you know what excuses are? They're the tools of incompetence.
Incompetence!
Stop it with the better purchase bullshit. I know all your stories.
That's my own
It won't
thing.
work on me.
Okay,
Next.
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, The Revenge. Next.
Electric Boogaloo.
So, the Elan Nublar is going to explode because it's been a volcano the whole time. Surprise! The government decides that they're not going to assist the dinosaurs in any kind of way.
Good.
They decide, I guess, as a I don't know what government would be responsible for helping them, but that government said no. Just a small tidbit. One dude on a microphone said, "We're not going to help them," and I feel like the whole world is like, "Oh, we're going to do what."
Well,
that
it was
guy wants."
the controlling interest of the company were American citizens, so it would be up to the United States government. And they were like, why would we get involved in a company's fuck up?
Yeah.
Agreed. So.
And they're dinosaurs. They're scary.
Okay.
And they're dinosaurs. Oh, wait, hold on. They're scared.
That was good.
I was like, wait, they don't have 401ks? What?
All right. The owner of Lockwood's estate wants to fund a rescue mission that brings Claire and Owen from Jurassic World 1 back together because they need their expertise, not only to navigate the island, but also to get a hold of Blue.
And to force a romantic plot.
Yes, and to force a romantic plot, but to get Blue, who is understood to be one of the most intelligent creatures on the planet.
Second most intelligent,
right underneath humans.
like, animal on the planet, I think is what they say.
Yeah.
Besides me.
Yep.
The op is successful, technically, but not everything is what it seems. Oh my god. So, I don't know how to say it.
Rafe.
Yeah.
Rafe.
Ralph? We're going to call him Ralph Spall.
That's
Rafe.
not even close.
Only to say Rafe.
He plays a
too
pretty
close.
archetypal villain. He's running a black market dinosaur network through Lockwood's estate. He does have some surprising moments where he acts in ways that I wouldn't expect. So when I say he's an archetypal villain, he does have some surprising little elements to him as a character. But James Cromwell, he plays Lockwood, who is the owner of the estate, and we'll call him Rafe Spall. Call him Spall. He's running the estate for Lockwood because Lockwood is super effing old.
And sick.
I will say that he, Mr. Spall, I'm going to call him Mr. Spall.
What's the character's name?
I don't know, who cares? Proves himself to be a thoughtful and mechanical sort of villain the whole time that the movie's going on. But,
Eli Mills.
Eli Mills, yeah.
Okay.
Proves himself to be kind of thoughtful and mechanical, which is why it was surprising when he just goes ahead and murders James Cromwell.
Spoiler alert.
Just murders him.
Yeah.
We're reviewing an effing movie, people. All right. The reason I bring up the fact that he, just straight up murders somebody after the whole time being very thought out about what he's doing is more than once he has the drop on Claire and Owen or, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard and just doesn't. Like, they're in a jail cell in the place that he lives, being held captive after he's already murdered somebody. Just murder him.
So you think you should murder more?
I think that as a villain, it makes no sense for you to capture somebody who can only make trouble for you and then just not murder them.
I concur.
But anyway,
I agree as well.
everything that happens afterwards is sort of like a haunted castle with dinosaurs, and then the end, we're not going to spoil. The only thing I'm not going to spoil is crazy.
Oh, it's bonkers.
It's bonkers.
Is it crazy like a milk truck?
So who we have here is Chris Pratt playing Owen Grady, Bryce Dallas Howard, Claire Dearing, Spall Guys playing Eli Mills, and
We have a bunch of really annoying interns.
oh yeah, I didn't like them very much.
Yeah.
I like the girl a lot better than I like the nerdy guy.
Yeah, I would agree.
But at the same time, so it's like you could tell they're like we sort of in the pre-discussion to recording, we were talking about how like you get the idea that they're newcomers, they're new actors, and then like they weren't comfortable enough with their ability to like make a character their own, so they just kind of played out archetypes. And you have the like tattooed up like renegade activist girl who doesn't take no nonsense, and like for sure that's great. But then you have the nerdy tech kid who, you know, overdoes the bug spray and feels so out of place in anywhere besides behind a computer.
And he wears glasses. I'm just gonna point that out.
Yeah.
Like
They both wear glasses.
Like you're leaning real hard into your archetype if you make him also physically look like the thing you're trying to make fun of.
Yep. And like one of them does an okay job. Like the girl, I think she's passable and entertaining enough. Like it's not distracting the way she is definitely playing an archetype, but that fucking what's his name? Frank? Oh my god. I have never wanted an innocent character to just get killed off in a movie before as much as I wanted him to go.
I wanted to see his head get clipped off.
Yeah,
oh,
just
right. Wow.
because like nothing against the actor or the character really, besides that every scene he was in, I was only looking at him, not because he's really good, because he's so distractingly bad. Sorry, dude, you'll get better with time, I'm sure.
No, he just wasn't likable, I think. As a character, usually when you have that kind of character in a movie, the sort of nerdy guy, he's there to be sort of likable and maybe even an in for the audience because he's relatable. He just wasn't likable.
Yeah, because you can't, like, it's hard to relate to them. Oh, by the way, I love Owen Grady's introduction in this one. Because what's more manly than working on a motorcycle? Building your own fucking cabin in the woods. Come on.
Yeah.
And I like that it was sort of a joke for a little bit in this one because it became a joke after the first one.
Yeah.
How he is just like perfect manly man.
Yeah.
But they humanize him a lot.
In this one?
The relationship with Blue I actually really, really like.
So in this movie, I will say that it's very clear that this movie had a much more competent director holding the reins here.
Yeah.
The moments of tension and suspense were way more impactful this time around. It's a much darker tone and feel, and I will say that the characters do feel a lot more fleshed out. Not super
as much as they could be based on what we were given. From the first
as much
one.
as you can be. They're given a little bit more nuance here.
Toby Jones.
I want to thank him for being in the movie.
I want to thank him for being in the movie. But I
loved his fake teeth.
I love him in so many things, but he was so distractingly out of place.
I loved it though.
Sure,
I love Toby Jones.
I
want to go to dinner with Toby Jones.
Oh man, what's another thing?
And when he shows up and I see him, I was like, "Oh, it's Toby Jones!" And he smiles and he's wearing just comically fake teeth, and I'm like, "This is great."
What was his accent? Where was he from?
I don't know. I couldn't tell. I didn't care.
He's usually English or German.
Well, we also need to talk about the most forgettable part of the movie. No offense. Jeff Goldblum. He has more lines, I think, in the trailer than in the movie. It was sad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his whole monologue is the monologue that they shot for the trailer.
For the trailer.
And like
that's it. You just see it. The
also,
movie opens with that.
Is that the same press conference court hearing? Both times?
Yeah,
because he's wearing the exact same outfit. In one, he's talking about why we shouldn't save them, and in the other one, he's talking about what happens at the end.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like his character has been a part of the franchise.
Oh, no, that I get. What I mean is, like, the timing of that is weird, because, like, you wouldn't... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wouldn't talk about what he's talking about in the beginning of the movie, and then what happens at the end.
Maybe he hasn't had a lot of dino work after the events of the first couple of Jurassic World movies, and now he just has one suit, and he goes to press conferences and talks about dinosaurs, and that's his character.
Well, what's your guys' take? Do you think that he should have been inserted more into the plot of the story, or
I think it would have felt weird.
It
would have felt weird. It was cool to see him, and he's great. Also, I feel like towards the end, his monologue at the end was just his Jeff Goldblum's real opinions about really the world right now. not just what happened in the movie. Real quick, I have a couple notes that I want to put to
from someone who just thought it 9 a.m. this morning.
You said it, not me. Did you feel like Claire was like really, really, really weird in the beginning?
I don't think she was weird.
Like,
I thought
acting very strange. Like the faces she was making, the like body language.
No, I just think that she is forcing her, as a character, she's forcing herself to be a new person and be in a new element, aka working with this activist group to try and save the dinosaurs out of guilt for how she used to be. Because that's how you see her when the movie first opens up. She's going to a very small room full of other, dinosaur activists, and she's running this group that is trying to talk to like Congress people and senators and whatnot to try and get dino support. And it's clear that she's not used to working in those kind of conditions, being someone who used to run one of the biggest, or probably the biggest, like theme park / zoo in the world. And now she's working in these smaller conditions, but with these passionate people. She just seemed a little out of her element, but also it seems like the events of the first movie maybe humbled her character and
traumatized
at the same
almost,
time. So I wouldn't say that it was weird. I think it would be weird if she was acting exactly how she was before, all prissy and don't mess up my suit, that kind of thing. I think that wouldn't have fit in that room. She would have been ejected by the people in it.
So I think more what I noticed, and it's probably because it was so fresh and I'm clinging to something, but like I just like the way she would look at people. Like it felt almost like, I don't know. It's really hard to explain, but I was off put.
I didn't catch anything of what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll think about it a little more, and we'll talk about it in
What are your inputs? You're over there leaning against the wall, smoking a cigarette. You're tightening up on your leather jacket. Katie May, I don't know what you're thinking.
Holding a gun to Aaron's head.
It's really aggressive.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say something that I thought was really funny. So when they go back to the island,
That was funny.
and we see the runes,
What was that?
of the runes.
The what?
The Room? Great movie. Great
The
movie. The
Ruins.
Room.
The ruins?
The runes.
Oh.
Katie May, runes RUNES or ruins RUINS?
Or prunes.
The only reason I called that out is because Katie May and I have had this discussion a million times. She can't say the word ruins.
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 There you go. There you go.
That was the first time she said it.
The
That felt-
ruins.
That sounded like it hurt you.
Yes.
Because she always goes runes. Like you're saying RuneScape.
Because that hurts me.
Yeah.
So I,
Yeah, that's how I'm like,
Okay, anyway. When you see the ruins,
don't talk to us like we're pronouncing it wrong and making you say it our weird way. Don't do that.
of Jurassic World, they just have to show a shot of the Margaritaville sign.
Yeah.
And I think that's really funny because if you go to Universal in Hollywood, we just got Margaritaville. And when you take the tour of the studio, when you go through Jurassic Park, they bring it up every single time that they now have Margaritaville.
Yeah.
And they show the shot in the first Jurassic World of Jimmy Buffett running away with margaritas. I'm like, oh,
Double
great.
fisting.
So just go to Margaritaville every time you see Jurassic World. You have to associate it with Margaritaville. And I think that was really funny that we just got that little shot.
Yeah.
Don't forget that we're also trying to plug Margaritaville. Come on down.
Hey-o! Who loves margaritas?
Yeah.
We can't get a better margarita than Margaritaville.
Now back to this really sad movie.
Oh yeah, it was. That's one thing I will say
What,
to
The
its
Room?
credit. It did the
Runes?
The runes.
Continue.
To its credit, it started out.
Who's his?
Is what I
I
said.
thought you said his credit.
The movie It?
To its credit, to the film Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom's credit. It's not even me anymore.
Jurassic World 2, The Revenge credit.
Yeah. To the film's credit.
Transformers?
I don't even care anymore!
Revenge of the
I want to
Dinosaurs.
go home!
Wait, were you saying Scream? Is that the
To the film's credit. It started out really well. It was a really solid cold opening. Like, terrifying. Now, maybe that's because that's one of my genuine phobias is like the open ocean, and then moreover the open ocean
Really?
dark. Like,
You're afraid of the open ocean?
oh yeah.
That was frightening me.
I'm terrified of things that I can't like see, and like.
You can't see the ocean?
Because like dinosaurs,
Man,
it's
Scent of a Woman
scary.
must terrify you. That and Ray Charles terrifies him.
He can't see.
Better hang myself.
Al Pacino's performance in The Son of a Woman struck me to my core.
No.
Woody Harrelson's performance in 7 Pounds
Whoa!
moved me.
How many do you have, Aaron?
I'm sorry, I have too many.
Keep going. You're not stopping. No, at this point, you're on the spot. Keep going until you don't have any more.
I'm just saying that you really love the song Superstition by Stevie Wonder.
Your commentary, Katie May. Jurassic World 2.
I just really liked the Margaritaville sign.
That's the only thing you want to say.
She loved the Easter egg.
Yeah, I love that. She's getting on us for having a conversation about the movie.
She loved the dinosaur egg.
And then we asked her what she thinks. She's like, I love Margaritaville. It's great.
She wants to get back to Margaritaville.
Yeah.
All right, here's what I will say about it.
It had great Katie May pacing.
Katie May pacing approved.
Sure. Yeah.
I will say that a lot of people are saying this movie has like a gothic sort of feel to it.
No.
I wouldn't call it gothic, but I would say it's a lot darker.
Yeah, creepy.
It's clear that this is directed by somebody who at least has experience in the horror genre, because he's really trying to make you feel the tension, and there's a really good build to each scene.
Oh, yeah.
They make the dinosaurs a lot more scary as opposed to just physically threatening. They're just scarier, creepier, you know? Mm-hmm. There's a lot more to that. And then when you shift to... When you open with just blowing up the island that 5 movies just took place on, that's bold. You can't come back from that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to spoil how the movie ends, but we were talking about Star Wars Episode 8, and how Tyler always says, and a lot of people say they're about to do something bold, and then they just pull out. Well, they don't in this movie. Like the very end of the movie, there's a Last Jedi moment where they did have a moment where they can go, we want to change stuff, but not too much. They're like, nah, we're gonna fuck it up, and they just boom. They change. The ending is really.
They committed.
They did. They committed, and I'm glad that they did.
Me too.
That doesn't necessarily make that a better movie, but the fact that a lot of movie franchises these days are always trying to set up the next thing, they did it well.
Oh yeah.
They did it well.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Because now there are endless stories that they can tell with how they set this up. And Aaron's just sitting there going like, how the fuck does this movie end?
I'm interested.
Good.
Yes.
Good. I think you should go see it. It started out at like an A for me, a solid A. Mm-hmm. And then that one tech in the beginning who has a scene where he like just hams it up.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Took it down to a like B-. I think I would give the movie a solid B+, I think. For like just... Yeah, like the fact that they can make that not even just the carnivores terrifying. Yeah. Also, they didn't only rely on one kind of carnivore being the terrifying one.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a big bad as far as dinosaurs. There has to be. There's been one in every single movie.
But it created like the world of what.
But like the fact that there wasn't just T-Rex. There was like 9 different like types of giant, angry, chompy carnivore dinosaur that would be terrifying to deal with nowadays.
Yeah.
And like I like that they made you really got the idea that like, we don't fucking stand a chance. Like
no.
We really don't.
No.
Especially now that they were already terrifying, but they've been genetically designed to be extra terrifying. Even the basic like herbivore ones, and it's like the way they played with perspective in this movie too. Like some of the shots where you see like you know the one I'm talking about with Macy.
Yeah, the one that's in the trailer.
Where
she's walking behind the
the
safety line.
Yeah, she steps over the red line, and the claw silently just gets closer, like
out of the back.
Oh man,
yeah,
I had goosebumps on the back of my neck.
And I would say, like in terms of cool visuals, I love that when Claire is in this like pipe with the tech.
Yep.
And this was probably one of my favorite shots. This is one shot.
Yep.
Claire and the tech are in this pipe, and they think they're safe because they're hiding from lava. The island is exploding, the lava's pouring in, and the lava's starting to seep through the pipe. So whenever it does, you get a little flash of orange light, because that's what would happen if lava was pouring in through a metal pipe. And every time it would pour in through, in the very back, you would see just a little glimpse of a raptor. And
terrifying dinosaur just creeping up on him.
And it's being smart, it's being careful, and it's creeping up on him, and then you would just see, and then you'd see the flash, and you're like, oh shit. Yeah. And then it would be dark, and you see it, you're like, oh shit, and it would just keep getting closer and closer, like, it's scary!
You know what shot scared me even more? The shot when the frickin' they send the bone thing in the very beginning, when they send the thing up to the top, and the lightning flashes.
Oh yeah.
I was like, ugh! So that's more specifically the idea that the ocean is as big as it is, and we just have no way right now of knowing what the fuck is swimming around down there.
Yeah.
Like, that's what fucks me up about big open ocean type stuff. And that shot in the trailer of the whatever that thing is, Mosasaurus?
Could be.
Is that what it's called? The giant, basically ancient alligator thing?
Yeah.
Like, in a giant wave about to chomp on a bunch of surfers. It's been in most of the trailers.
Yeah.
Shit like that fucks me up. Fuck that thing, by the way. Fuck that thing so much.
Putting that little image in the trailer is like bold because that's scary.
Oh, then when the shot in the beginning too,
where it's riding in the wave.
Oh yeah.
And it just eats a surfer.
They did an excellent job of making the dinosaurs terrifying again. Like,
it was good.
Fact that the second Jurassic Park traumatized me when I was a kid, and I felt a lot of that similar feeling, which is a good thing, by the way. It should be scary. The first one I don't feel like was really that scary. There were moments where you were like, oh man, that's a scary dinosaur, but like you were never, it was always so well lit, and it was like so much so a blockbuster about Chris Pratt being amazing at everything and saving the day, that this one, you felt like the humans were vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone was vulnerable and the dinosaurs were definitely like the top of the
So you guys think this did justice to the franchise and definitely
for sure
more so than the first one did, I think.
More so than Jurassic World. It's not as good as Jurassic Park, but it's definitely better than Jurassic Parks 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction, which is what like coming up. I can't wait, especially with some of the revelations made about particular characters towards the end. Don't want to spoil it because it's a pretty solid twist.
Yes, very solid twist.
Like,
Katie May even said she didn't see it coming.
Yeah,
she's the smartest one here.
Yeah, seriously.
That's true.
And the implications of that what it means for the science of the franchise.
For the world.
Also, when is that fucking scientist asshole who keeps playing God with these dinosaurs gonna get his motherfucking comeuppance?
B.D. Wong?
He slimes his way out of getting comeuppance in every single one of these movies.
B.D. Wong is one of my favorites.
I mean, in this one, someone else does it for him, but still.
It makes me really excited for the new ride at Universal.
Oh yeah, they're shutting down the Universal ride right now in Universal Studios in
Jurassic
September
Park.
because they're going to shut down Jurassic Park and they're going to strip it out and they're going to make a Jurassic World ride. That's
so excited.
Very excited.
So go to Universal before September and ride it.
But anyway, that's our review, aka we liked it.
Yeah, a lot.
I demand everyone who's listening to comment a movie that we should review for our segment next week, which will be more classic movie reviews. We need more to add to the list because our list is long, but it could always use more.
We have so many to watch.
Oh yeah, we could always use more.
Yeah, but like
we have 3 different lists. No, we have 4 because of Katie May's list.
What new movies are coming out by the time?
Sicario
2. That's what we're seeing this weekend. Yeah.
Very excited.
Oh!
I like the first one.
I'm a dinosaur too. Whoa!
Oh man! I just want to thank everybody for coming and listening to our movie news, our reviews, our segments. We are on Screenplay now, which is why Tyler's here. It's the only reason we were able to wrangle him.
I mean, and you guys are my friends, but whatever.
Nope,
not really.
just Screenplay.
No, he's too busy for us.
Yeah.
We lassoed him in.
So Screenplay is on Patreon, also YouTube. Not yesterday. This will be coming out on Monday. So 2 days ago,
We recorded this on Saturday, just a surprise.
2 days ago, an episode of The Inventor came out, episode 2. Look out this Friday for Katie May's show, Visual Cooking, another episode coming on Friday.
And this Wednesday, we'll be releasing our first batch of shenanigans. We'll be trying out a couple new segments.
Shut up.
Seeing what you guys think.
I meant it. Patreon, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We're on all those things. Thanks for listening, guys. No. Real quick, Tyler, you got something to add?
What's coming out Wednesday?
Shenanigans, huh?
Okay, happy listening.
I'm never coming on this show again.
Why not? We treat you with respect.
Yeah, you do.
Guy
You absolutely do. Guy Kitty?
Yeah.
Bye.